Okay, good morning everyone. Mikael here for another episode from X-Enduro. Today I have the pleasure to have Nicole with me.
Hi everybody, hi Mikael. Thank you very much for having me here.
Today we're discussing something that nobody really wants to do, but that everybody should know how to do. Lifting the bike.
Yes, which is something that you really have to practice. What's the most efficient way to lift the bike?
The best way to lift your bike is having your friends lifting the bike.
How strong do I have to be to pick up this bike?
You don't have to be very strong. The technique is the key here. We're going to look at 3 different techniques today. The squat technique, the front squat technique, and the handlebar technique. So today we're going to focus on one person lifting the bike only. Let's say you're out alone riding and you drop the bike, you need to lift the bike.
Okay, so how are we going to do this?
The first thing we do is we check the area around it if it's safe. We check that we are safe, that there's not another rider coming to hit us. And then we turn the ignition off. If we're on this side, we put the side kickstand down and we make sure that the bike is in first gear. That is not in neutral, because if it's in neutral when you lift the bike in a hill, the bike's going to start rolling. So now we've secured ourselves and we are set to lift the bike. So one of the most important things in either of these techniques is to always secure your back. And try to lift as much as possible with your legs. We're going to start with the squat technique, like I call it. Now I know it's safe to lift the bike. I'll sit down. I now grab the handlebar and I pull that in as much as I can. And I grab somewhere with my left hand. I want my knee in basically 90 degrees. Now we're coming to securing the body. So I want to secure my back. So you see I go from this to this. To secure the back even more, I look up because that forces my back to be straight. So all my power is going to come from my thighs. Once you're in this position, you push with the legs and then you walk it up the rest of the way. So she's sitting on the bike more or less.
We push and we walk.
Okay, bring it down one more time for me, please. Let's do it again, but secure your back a little bit more. And look straight ahead and look up when you lift the bike. That's it. Perfect. Now use your legs. All right, now we're going to try the front squat technique. Again, just checking that the gear is in, side stand is down. In this case, I'm going to come down and lift this way. So I grab here, I grab the handlebar, I try to find space for my knees to get a good grip. Again, the knees more or less 90 degrees. Secure my back, look up, and then I walk the bike forward. All right, let's try the front squat technique. Good job. So what do you think of that technique?
Yeah, it was a bit challenging. The first few centimeters is a bit challenging on the knees. But after that, push the entire body into it and it just goes up. So the technique is good.
All right, now let's look at the third technique, which I call the handlebar technique. This could be good to use, for instance, if you can't access the side. Let's say this is a big rock, I can't get to it. I will turn the handlebar this way, so this sticks out the furthest it can. That gives me most leverage to lift the bike. I will now hang on to the handlebar only. Technique-wise, it's very similar. Knees down 90 degrees, secure the back, look up. When you find a good position, then we lift and the bike is up. All right, you ready for the handlebar technique then?
Move the handlebar.
Knees 90 degrees.
And we lift.
Yeah.
And then we walk, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
As you can see, this is quite a difficult technique. You did it. So we were now practicing the GS. And we're now moving on to the Tenere, which is known to be one of the more difficult bikes to lift because it's so top heavy and it doesn't have the big cylinder head sticking out. So let's do it. All right, so in this case, the Tenere, it's a big gap here between the wheel and the sand. That means when we lift the bike, it's going to be like almost a 2-step. So first get the wheel on the ground with one little lift and then bring the bike up. All right, so here we can see how the Tenere and other bikes like the Honda Africa Twin probably, it's very flat on the ground, doesn't have the cylinder heads, it's much lower down, so makes the challenge even bigger. The technique, however, is the same. So I'll sit on the bike, I find a good place to grab, I find the handlebar here, I try to plant my feet, get 90 degrees on my knees, and when I feel I have the bike, we're set to lift, secure the back, look up, and walk it back until it's up. So again, find myself down, find the position, grab low on both, try to secure my back, find a good position for my knees that fits into the design of the bike, which is not always easy. Secure the back, look up, the first little bit, wheels on the ground, and then the bike comes up. Try to lift the Tenere with the handlebar technique. So I bring the handlebar over this way, I position myself, grab the handlebar only, bring it up to the point where the tire touches the ground, and then I bring the bike up. In my opinion, this is the most difficult way to lift the bike. Yeah, so we see it's more about the technique than the strength. Well done, Nicole. Slightly straighter back this time, but it's difficult with the T7. First to get the wheel on the ground. Okay, what we see here is the front wheel rolling because it's a slight downhill. Look up. Knees 90 degrees and lift. Now, because the side's turning down, I can just do this. Very easy. So we're done with lifting the bike. Nicole, tell me, what do you think?
Okay, so lifting the bike is no easy job, but obviously with the correct technique, and you need to have a bit of fitness, which Mikkel is going to cover in a different tutorial.
So you see, you can lift the bike with the correct technique, even if you don't have a lot of strength. You do it step by step, correct technique, protect your back, and you're good to go.
If you have a buddy system, then you can help each other, right? I would always go in a buddy system, my buddy.
Like we started the video, the best way to lift your bike is with your friend.
Having the correct technique is good for the body, is good for the soul, and is good for the bike. So practice, practice, practice.
High five.
If you enjoyed this video, please like it and click below to subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you next time.